The United States is playing checkers with World War III, and we have a solar flare alert. These are the things I wanted to bring to your attention. Yes, we right now have a 75% chance of a class 3 solar flare, no, an M class solar flare, 75%, and a 25% chance of a X class solar flare in the next 24 hours. Let me repeat, a X class solar flare probability of 25% in the next 24 hours, which is significant, and a M class solar flare chance in the next 24 hours of 75%. I want to bring that out. And since not many people have joined me, I will mention that again later. But also, right now, the United States seems to be playing checkers with World War III. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say checkers with World War III? I say that simply because, my friends, we are we've driven the bear to the arms in the lap of the dragon, and now we appear to be driving what's left is one of our greatest potential allies that would be very strategic if we get into a war with China, which looks inevitable, right into, believe it or not, the lap of the dragon, India. So the reason I say this is playing checkers is because this is all being done over a little strip of land in a country that has no strategic value to the United States. What's happening there is tragic, but we're talking about this is over the Donbass region of Ukraine, which doesn't want to be part of Ukraine. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say that? Here's what's happening, my friends. Here's what you got to understand. The United States has invoked a 50% tariff on India because India is buying oil from Russia and they're reselling a lot of it. And because of that, because we are trying to punish Russia over their conflict with Ukraine, which is over basically the Donbass region, just a sliver of the Donbass region now actually is what it's boiling down to. And over that, we are giving up one of the greatest strategic partners to the West. This isn't just a matter of the United States. The whole West lays in lurch over this because I've told you 100 times, that's an understatement. I've told you so many times in here that the biggest threat to the world, the biggest threat to the free world today is China. China. Yes. We appear to be on the road to war with China. And even if we don't want it, it looks like it's coming. And as I've actually explained, it really looks like China's been at war with us all along, and we've just been too dumb to know it. Sun Tzu style war. And what do they do in Sun Tzu war? They tell you, oh, everything's great and wonderful. We love you. Relax. Can I get you a drink? Lay back in a chair. Close your eyes. And as you're relaxing and closing your eyes, you get it in the back. Junk. Oh, yeah. Well, Xi Jinping is telling Donald Trump everything he wants to hear. Well, we won't possibly attack while you're in office. Really? Since when should you ever trust a communist for anything, huh? Jeez. Anyway, guys, this is serious. Now, China uh, really requires oil from Iran and other places. Now, we are looking at cutting some of that back, but they require to be able to get through the Strait of Malacca, the Malacca Strait, which is, down in Indonesia. It's very narrow. Now, we might be able to control that, but our best ally for controlling that is India. And if India is against us, our hopes of controlling that strait are nil. We could lose access to the entirety of the Indian Ocean over this, especially since China's been setting up bases in other places in the Indian Ocean. So, you got to look at this thing strategically. And, Trump's been accused of playing four-dimensional chess. But right now, I think he's playing checkers. Uh, because we have driven. See, what's happening is Modi, the Prime Minister of India, is meeting Xi Jinping Monday at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the CSO, in Tiananmen, whatever you pronounce that place, in China. And it's been speculated that this meeting is all about this, and that what is happening is that China is trying to flip India away from us. Now, bear in mind, India and China have had some major conflicts, including a full-blown war in 1962 over their borders, and they had a skirmish in the border, which 24 people wound up pushing daisies back in 2020, just 5 years ago. Now, when you boil all this stuff together, my friends, I'll check the chat in a little bit, guys. For the people watching in the morning, I want to get the pure news first. So they've had a lot of disputes, but maybe China is going to lure India in. Oh, we love you so much, Sun Tzu. We love you. We're going to take care of you. No more war. We're going to be good to you. And the war, we'll quit this border skirmish stuff. You can have what you want. You'll be secure. And Pakistan won't attack you because Pakistan is our proxy. You got to remember, one of the key routes the Belt and Roads Initiatives run right through Pakistan. Easy targets for India to take out should there be a conflict between India and China. And this is something India's been quite concerned, not a conflict between America and China, but this whole economic thing, this tariff is so burdensome on India's growing economy that they're going straight to China. And it looks like they may be cutting a deal. We'll know Sunday if that happens. And I hope I'm wrong. Donald Trump really needs to go to Modi and talk to him. So, hey, look, we love you. We're not here to, be an adversary. We need to work together. But if China comes up to India and says, oh, no, it's over, we're going to be good to you. And if India buys that, if they suddenly become kind of like Trump, the guys who are trusting the Sun Tzu masters, the communist, whose philosophies is to lie and steal, if they do that, then we are in deep kimchi. I see Rodney in the house. Yeah, you guys down under are going to be in deep kimchi too. Guten Morgen. Yes, good morning there, uh, Jason. Green Country Agroforest. Everybody look at that channel, please. Guten Morgen. Morgan and Morgans is another way of saying that. Yeah. Anyway, so guys, um, here's the deal. Uh, this, like I said, this is checkers that we're playing here. Checkers. I'm going to show you some articles on this stuff. Back in, we're not going to be all night long in this video because I got to get up early in the morning. I just want to bring you the skinny on this. And we're going to talk a little bit about the whole predicament of war, technology, and how we cannot survive the hatreds that are in the world today. We're going to talk that at the end. That's really crucial to everything going on. But you got to defend yourself. You've got to defend yourself. And China, from some analysis I've been looking at, they're not going to give us a choice. And here's the other thing: they're not going to give India a choice either. They're going to lure India in Sun Tzu style. This is what I was trying to say. If you believe in Bible prophecy, in the book of Revelations, it's told of this big army of 200 million that crosses the Euphrates River. When it dries up, which, Iran's under a big drought, and Euphrates is not doing so well either right now. So we may be coming to these times, and I actually showed you in two different videos how China actually could marshal a 200 million man army. But the other thing is, they're supposed to wipe out a quarter of the world's population in that area. And maybe that would be from an attack on India. Their march to the Euphrates may go right through India. And that is always what I expected. How else do you get those kind of numbers? But the Indians aren't Christian. They don't even follow the Hebrew Bible. They don't follow the Abraham lineage of faiths. So they don't know this. It makes it easier to play Sun Tzu on them. I hope Modi's a really smart man. I hope he really knows better than this. But see, India's always tried to be independent. India has had a long, good history with Russia. Back in the day, we favored Pakistan, and India still remembers that, resents it over India. We need India as a strategic partner. So we need to maybe back off on that 50% tariff. The problem is we imposed it across a number of industries. Now, if you got to have this tariff, you might could have just put it on that petroleum, on the oil, but no, we put it across several different industries. We already had a 25% tariff on them. They weren't too, nobody's happy with that, but they could survive it. It's when we doubled it and doubled across many different areas. Donald Trump, maybe he wasn't thinking too clearly on that one. You don't want to drive your ally into the lap of your enemy, especially a country like India, which already has had good relationships with Russia, and Russia's in the lap of uh, China already, thanks to the previous POTUS, President Taterhead. So we got to really, really, sounds very wet up your way. Oh, we got to really, really concentrate, folks, on the big game. The big game is China. It's not Russia. It's not Ukraine. It's China. I don't want a war with China, but the best way to avoid that is to not get weak and then have the whole world lined up against you with China. And when you look at the alignment of the world, the biggest population country is India. Oh, their population's growing. China's is shrinking. China's the second largest economy in the world by GDP. India's the fourth largest. If these are all on the same side, look out. If these are on the same side, forget our access to the Indian Ocean. Forget we may lose access to Dago Garcia, where we like to fly our B-52s, B-2s, and other things to have access to the underbelly of that side of the world. Forget about it. Forget about it. So, guys, this is very serious. If India was on our side, China would have a serious checkmate. But with India on China's side, and China knows this. So they're going to do everything in their power to lure India in. Just like they got Russia. One of these days, they're going to take Siberia from Russia. And Russia knows that in the long term, they're afraid, but we've become more of an immediate concern for Russia. So they're dealing with us. So there is a possible way out of this, a couple of them, if things go fast. But we really, really need to be talking to China real soon. And it's already too late. Modi's already on his way over there. I don't know, maybe we can pull it back. But there's also a possibility of a solution, believe it or not, in Ukraine. So these are all things to pay attention to. For those just joining, what I mentioned at the outset of this video is, and the reason I'm going live is because I thought about not doing a video now because I had a little bit of tachycardia. I'm tired and getting up early in the morning. But the thing that really prompted me to go live early is a solar flare alert. What I'm telling you guys about the solar flare is we have a 25% chance of an X-class flare in the next 24 hours and a 75% chance of an M-class flare. Now you got to get that X-class flare way up there, X10 or higher, if you're going to worry about things like the grid going permanent damage to the grid and those kind of things. But there's sunspots that we're looking. I'm going to show you a picture of them a little bit. They're huge. They're huge. I'm going to show that. And all this time also, the economy is being challenged, especially the strength of our dollar. Now, some things are good with our economy, believe it or not, despite all the reports you hear in the news. But our dollar is being challenged so much on the world stage right now. Mainly, it started when President Taterhead withheld Russia's money. If you're a banker and you hold somebody's money, Don't expect they're going to do business with your bank anymore. And that's what we did. We seized assets of Russia. And what that did, a lot of people were screaming, don't do it, don't do it. You're going to destroy the credibility of our banking system and of the Western dollar. And yeah, that's exactly what's happening. That's why the BRICS have gotten so much traction, and so many countries are joining BRICS right now, because there are also all these other countries afraid that the United States or any Western world will play the same game on them. So, when somebody puts money in your bank, you got to be at least a fair broker of the money, because it's not your money. But we decided under President Taterhead to do something that a lot of people screamed against. And we're paying for it. It's costing us more than apparently than it's costing Russia. It's costing us the chance of losing. The dollar is the world reserve currency, which would shatter our economy, because it's we're printing a lot of dollars, my friends. And typically, when a country prints a lot of dollars, their inflation shoots through the roof. They go Weimar Republic or Zimbabwe, where toilet paper is worth more than money. Well, see, guys, what happens then? What happens is that uh, with us, let me go back. The reason that don't happen with us is because there's so many dollars out in the marketplace that our ratcheting up is a smaller fraction of the total dollars in the marketplace. Well, that could change really fast. And that's what China will like to, and Russia both right now will like to do to us. And India wants to see the rupee be big. So India had a different reason to be part of BRICS and playing this, but Modi would claim to Trump that, well, I'm not going after the dollar. Well, he may be now. And if he really joins full force in this, we are we are heading for trouble. We're heading for trouble. All right, guys. Like I said, I said I was going to show you guys some articles on this. Hang on, bear with me a second. And that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to look at the chat and we're going to call it tonight. Hang on here. Where's my share button? I always got to be careful not to hit the quit button instead of the share button. I've done that a few times. Fortunately, not so much on live session, but sometimes when I'm recording a video, I've been bad to do that. Look, gold's just hit an all-time, well, a really big high here for the last 5 weeks. I don't think it's exactly an all-time high, but it's really right at it. So, and it's got to do with our weaker dollar more than anything. Now, that's a CSNBC or CNBC article, and so they're going to paint it critical of the Trump administration. But the fact is what it is. Look at this: gold is now at $3,449.19 per troy ounce. Guys, that's pretty hefty. But it looks like it may go a lot more, and some people are speculating it is. So, you might want to buy some other way to secure your money. I highly encourage you to look here at defythegrid.com, because it got this deal that if you find a better price somewhere else, a meter to beat it, nobody else that I've seen makes that guarantee. And if you come here, you can buy, uh, bullion and bars. You can buy rounds, coins, silver, platinum, palladium, copper, and you can buy silver notes, which are like gold backs, and you can buy these gold backs, like I got right here. This one's been in my wallet for a year. And it's only it's only one thousandth of a troy ounce. So this is denominated in a very fungible amount that I can go barter with somebody for a loaf of bread or, a pack of eggs. So that's why I like that. Use discount code GreenGregs if you go here. Use discount code GreenGregs and you'll get 1% off. All right, enough said for that. Let's move on. Let's talk about space weather. Because let me show you what we're talking about here. We're talking about sunspot 4197. And here is 4197. That is a big, ugly beast. And it's got its, A and B positive and negative magnetic sections. She is a beast. That looks like a bear's footprint. What do you think, Jason? Does that look like a bear paw? footprint. This one looks like a mess. And it's got a lot of energy twisted up in its magnetic fields right now, and that's what you got to worry about. And it's aimed directly at us, directly at us. And she's actually pretty low in the latitude. Usually, as we get towards solar, when you start heading toward the solar minimum, these sunspots migrate to the equator of the sun. This one's suspiciously low. Is this solar maximum we're in? It's having its second peak right now. Is the second peak going to last longer than we thought? So much for the grand solar minimum, my friends. We've had a very active cycle this time, and I predicted that based on some other data a few years ago. And everybody laughed at me. Oh, now we're in grand solar minimum. That ain't going to happen. Well, it did, didn't it? Anyway, who knows? Maybe we'll turn back toward the trend toward a grand solar minimum after this. I hope so. I want to see a cool down instead of all the heat we've been seeing lately. And, this is related to the heat of the world, how much activity you get out of the sun. In a grand solar minimum, you get more cloud formation due to the cosmic rays. That's another story. We're not going to go into that right now, but we've talked that in the past. Maybe I should. I might do a video specifically on that. But so the chances of a solar flare, as I said, according to the NOAA, 75% for an M class and 25% for X class flares. So that is significant. Don't mean we're going to have it. It doesn't mean the X class is going to take down our grade, but it could. That's why you need to be getting ready. This is why you need to prepare. I've always told you if man don't do it sooner or later, the sun's going to get it. You just don't know when. We're playing Russian roulette with the sun by not having our grid hardened. And this is why you need to be prepared. This is why you need to get ready. Now, hey, look, for a change, we see some asteroids projected to come close to us before they do it. We're real big on finding them, like the day of or maybe a day before or after they pass us, some of these smaller ones when they come in close. But there's actually a forecast of two of them that's going to fly between the Earth and the Moon in the next few days. We're talking the 31st of August and the 3rd of September. Now, fortunately, they're still a good distance away. It's 7/10 of a lunar distance for this guy right here, 25 Quebec October 7, Q07. And it's coming in, it's 17 meters wide, so it's fair size rock, and it's coming at 8.2 kilometers per second, which is fast, but not nearly as fast as some of these others. But the one coming in on the 3rd of September is coming a little closer at zero point 0.6 lunar distance. That's a little over halfway out between the Earth and Moon, which is quite a bit of distance, by the way. And that's still 3 times further out than the geosynchronous satellites. So it's not coming in under our satellites that are way out there. So that's the good news. This one is coming in faster and it's a little bit bigger. We wouldn't want it to hit us, but it don't look like it will. You'll always see articles about these asteroids. They'll claim they're as big as a house or as big as Eiffel Tower coming right at Earth. I say it all the time. A bunch of horse pucky. But anyway, so I just want to let you know that's, coming. Just something to keep your eyes on. There's a picture of a fuel discharge from a rocket dump over Europe. Just give you a nice little view of that. Anyway, now we're going to get into some of this political shenanigans. Again, we're talking about a potential China-India reset. And I've already gave you the skinny on it. There's nothing in this article that's worth saying that I haven't told you about. But here's some news. Here's some news. Moscow no longer demands full control of 4 occupied Ukrainian oblasts. Maybe there's some room here for negotiations. And if that happens, that definitely, is cause to end that oil sanction, the tariff on India, and the tariffs on India actually should be backed down. They should be backed down because they're covering many sectors. The good news is they're not. We get a lot of medicines from India. They don't cover medicines. The bad news is that India and about 30 or 40 other countries have decided not to send mail packages to the United States, but medicines are exempt from that. So that's, two items of bad news and two items of good news in that regard. So, and that package denial has to do with us putting tariffs on items that are under $800, which had been exempted under some previous protocols for tariffs and other such things. Anywho, by the way, Kamchatka Peninsula is still shaking and rocking. We got a lot of earthquakes up there. We get this 5.1 there, 5.2 over here, and a 5.0. So it's shaking for some time. You got to remember the New New Madrian fault in the United States went off in 1812. It had big earthquakes for months, months on end. We're kind of seeing that over there, but that also was a huge earthquake. Now we got one over here in Alaska, Deck Island, a 5.1. You know, not insignificant. Tokyo's been having a few pretty good ones too. And Tomioka, however you say that, a 5.0. And over here's a 5.5. So we got some shaking going on. Now, up here in Alaska, we got a 2.9 in Cantwell. Alaska always had a lot of shaking, 3.2. In China, looks like we got a fresh one over here in Jellystone National Park or somewhere around there. Oh, it's Nevada, 3.5. Valmeet, Nevada. Okay, yeah, Yellowstone is right over here, up here actually. We got a fresh one over here in Puerto Rico. The Puerto Ricans are busy dancing right now. They always a lot of earthquakes over 3.8. Oh, this is U.S. Virgin Islands actually, Cruise Bay. Okay, a little further east than there. And so we got a fresh one over here in the Mediterranean, 4.7, close to Malta. Marsaskala. I don't know how you say that. Anyway, enough of that stuff. I'm going to stop the share here. Bang. That's the main thing I wanted to tell you guys. The solar flare alert and the fact that we're on the verge of driving what may be one of our key allies into flipping toward China. That is not good by any stretch of any imagination that I could fathom. No way. No way, my friends. Is there anything good to be found in that, according to my way of seeing things? If you agree with me, put a 2 in the chat room. If you don't agree, put a 1 in the chat room, and please explain why. I'd like to see what you think about it. But I just don't think there's anything good about that. We're going to talk about something else here. We're going to take on a whole nother topic here. And then I'm going to check the chat room real quick. And we're going to call it a connect. I've touched on this a couple times in the past. And I did a video. I did a video on this back, a few years back. I called it a nuke in every pot. I was talking about our technological acceleration. Back in the day when I was building rockets out of a garage that could hit space, it occurred to me that, just a few decades earlier in the lifespans of people that I knew, it took a superpower to do, and billions of dollars and a superpower to do what we were doing. At that point in time, only Russia and the United States could do what we were doing out of a couple of garages on a shoestring budget with a handful of guys. And so suddenly the idea of how technology could proliferate really hit home to me because I was in the middle of it. And this was, back over 25 years ago, actually 27 years ago, we were doing this. And now we launched in 97. So let me back that off. 28 years ago. Holy smoke, I'm getting old, guys. 28 years ago. Wow, we were at the forefront of technological revolution, guys. So I bring this to you because it dawned on me that there were many technological proliferations that could take out our species, and one at the time already was biologics. somewhere around 2000, a scientist ordered came out with it, ordered a genome off the internet. Then he ordered the constituent particles for it and built this thing in a lab. And basically, this is something you could do in a lab in a garage, believe it or not. And biolabs are all over the world. Even podunk, poor backwards nations have them. You know, they talk about us building biolabs, all this thing. You can do your own. So this whole notion of bioterrorism is huge. Uh, Also, big countries, big players, if they're going to attack us, especially if it's a World War III thing. And I think I've shown some time back, there's two colonels over in China talked about how they, alluded to how they would use biowarfare. And what was a bug that was named after 2019 that broke out? Where did that come from? What do you think? There's talks of a whole lot of other nasty stuff in these national labs. Well, we know a biolab we found that belonged to China in Reedy, California. We have, that was discovered rather fortunately, but by accident, sort of. How many others are there in this country? Some have speculated there may be up to 20. That's pure speculation. It could be less, it could be more. And then we've seen Chinese researchers, students, bringing stuff in, biologics that could impact our agricultural systems. There's things that could impact you and me. So if we get hit with an EMP, that's not the only thing we're going to get hit by. Trust me. And now that we know that they are looking at ways to modify these so that they're selective genetically. It only gets those guys. It only gets these guys. And they'd probably put a timer on it so that after some near replications, it would stop after it did its damage just to make sure it wouldn't mutate and come back and get them. That's how they would handle that. So, my friends, we live in a world, and that's just one example. Drones, especially once they start getting down to the gnat size, they're already down to the wasp, smaller than a small wasp size. Drone technology can be one of these technologies, maybe AI, but coupled with some effector like drones. Then there's nanotechnology. Then there's something else I'm a lot more worried about, which I think I know how to do it. It's the kind of stuff Ashton Forbes talks about. There's energies that could be released that are mind-boggling. And it might not take that much. It may be a lot easier to develop that stuff than an atom bomb. The analogy to this is the 1954 movie, The Forbidden Planet. In that movie, a civilization, that they were on a planet which was they found the ruins of a civilization that wiped itself out in a single night, accidentally, because they suddenly had ultimate power with the technology they had. And the monsters of the id, of their subconscious minds, supposed to have been a brilliant civilization, far more advanced than us, far smarter beings. They wiped themselves out in a single night. So what I posit is this. I don't see that happening exactly, but any world that was sufficient advance in technology in which hatreds exist stand the chance of obliterating itself, whether it be national level through nuclear war, World War III, or T groups, T-terrorists, if you know what I mean, acting out. I mean, we're at the point that small organizations could unleash technologies, unleash mayhem on the global scale. That's what I was doing the stuff out of a garage 28 years ago. At the time, I still knew a lot of the German rocket scientists who have all passed away now. And they couldn't even hit space yet. Not when they were in Germany. When it came to the United States, the V2 actually did it, as a suborbital. But the orbital and, rockets of their derivation is what, the Redstone rocket put the first satellite of the United States, Explorer 1, in orbit. After Russia vanguarded us. So, and we thought Russia was a podunk backwards nation. And so they launched a satellite and we panicked. It's like, holy smoke, they could hit us. That's when it dawned on us that we were under a nuclear umbrella of a power that didn't like us. Before they had bombers, but it was thought they really couldn't reach us. We actually came close to a nuclear war with Russia in 1957 because that was the last window that we had an edge on them before they developed and fielded their intercontinental ballistic missiles, before they vanguarded us. And at the time, Curtis LeMay actually could have launched it. And he was Mr. Carpet Bomb everything. So we're kind of lucky you didn't. We've had luck on our side too many times. Too many times we've had close calls. And now that more and more nations are getting these things, and now that they fly faster with hypersonics, our time for miscalculation or figuring out what's coming at us has gotten much, much shorter than the luxury of time we had before to figure out if it's a real attack or not. So our chances for nuclear war are going up. Our chances for some group wiping us out are going up. Why do I bring all this up? Because we can't survive in a world with hatred, with the advancement of technologies that we're seeing. We just can't do it. And maybe there have been other civilizations before us here that fell to the same thing because they didn't have their emotions in check in terms of hatred. Today, we are fanning the flames of hatred more than ever. Internally here in the United States, externally around the world, divide and conquer. It plays well for those that want to take over the world, the globalist. Yeah, plays well for them, divide and conquer. But there's a huge risk in this. So there's really only three paths forward, actually. One, and this is what the globalists dream of. We've heard our so-called friend, I say that facetiously, and from the house of Klaus, you know what I mean, talking about implants, computer chip implants. And of course, he went to China and marveled over the control system the Chinese had on their people. Said this is the way government should be run. Yeah, that's what Klaus did. Can y'all hear me? Am I talking loud enough? Am I coming across 5x5, folks? Talk to me. Can y'all hear me? So these are the things I want to bring up to you. I don't know how we do it because you got to defend yourself. There's no doubt about that. You got to defend your family, maybe your neighborhood, your state, your county, whatever. If you're getting attacked by somebody, you've got to defend your country. And we have enemies, both domestic and foreign, which their Constitution, swearing an oath of the Constitution, you're supposed to defend against that. But we see that some people don't take their oaths very seriously in that regard. I don't think, especially from the state that's so deep. So, my friends, we got to find a new way. And we ain't got a lot of time to do it. We're running out of time and it may not succeed. But the options are we all go Borg in the hive, and that's what the House of Klaus type folks would like to put upon us, or we get annihilated, or we preserve our independence, which is the way to go. But how do you do that? We got to give up hatred. We got to find a way through this somehow. I don't know how. It's not, like I said, you got to defend yourself when you get hostile nations that are determined to do you in. That's a very difficult proposition. So it's got to start with the people. All governments, there don't seem to be any exceptions. The leaders of all governments seem to be crazy people. They seem to be psychopaths almost. And maybe you got to be a psychopath to rise to that power. Some of them might have been good people, but there's Lord Acton's old saying, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So if they start out with good intentions, they probably just rot in the system. And the bigger the system, the more rot. So we can't trust our governments to do this for us. We can try to elect people and throw the bums out, and that's what we ought to do. But this is going to take something person to person across the world. We've got to start becoming part of a movement to wake people up in all the other countries, adversarial, friendly, whatever, and say, you know, guys, we got to shuck the shroud of this control that they put upon us and push for freedom and love. If the world was filled with love, there would be no war, no need for militaries. If you had real love, you wouldn't even need a court system. How would you need government if people were really helping each other out? Psychopaths are all about control. Amen, you. So the Ruhard, first of the rocket engineers from Germany, but he didn't last long without a support crew. His designs were good, but not moonshot worthy. Who we talking about, Arnold? The Ruhard. Well, I knew a lot of those old German rocket scientists, smart men. And all the ones I met were really nice, super nice people. They weren't racist. We had some black students that they bent over backwards to help them get their experiments in space, worked with them diligently and did everything they could to encourage and promote people without any regard to whether male, female, race. They didn't care anything about that. Somebody liked space and engineering. They went over backwards to help them. They didn't care who they were, where they were from. They were very helpful, good people. So, in my humble opinion, yes. But there's that old saying, "It floats," except they usually put a S and an H in front of it, right? It floats to the top. Yeah, the stinky stuff floats to the top. Power hungry people claw their ways up, and that's how psychopaths, or I would say in government, and this is true for corporations too, the high top of corporations. In fact, there's studies on this that say that statistically they have a much higher density of psychopaths in those jobs, running corporations, power positions in government, and agencies. It's supposed to be protect us. No, they're looking after themselves. That's why we call them the state of deep, because they ain't there for us. They're there for themselves. And they milk it for all they can. It's too much. We got to find a way to shuck this control. But I think it's person to person globally. Maybe the internet and our social media is our ways to reach out to other people. A lot of countries, they shut that down. You just can't reach them directly. Might be one advantage of getting those students over here, and when we need to pull them aside and talk to them and say, hey, things could be different. Of course, they are legally bound to spy on us, so why are we letting them in the first place? But maybe we should take advantage while they are. If you meet them, just kind of start taking them aside and talking to them. So why we got to be adversaries? I stood in the streets of Moscow and looked around. I said, why would these people want to bomb us? And then I thought, well, why in the world would we want to bomb this place? I met a lot of nice people over there. I enjoyed my trip to Moscow. Person to person, we're all the same inside, pretty much. But we get ideology pumped into our heads, propaganda pumped into our heads, and it's all part of the control mechanism. Anytime they want to go to war with a country, they dehumanize that other nation. Japan did it about Americans, Americans did it about Japan in World War II, and it continues to this day. And inside the United States, part of the civil strife does the same thing. Same thing. Same thing. That's part of the current racial strife in this country, too. And, nobody can help how they were born, where they were born. And I don't believe people should be judged for the sins of their great grandparents. It is what it is today. Take things where they are today and try to figure out how to make the best of it march forward. And that even applies to Ukraine. They found spies in the Pentagon. Oh yeah, yeah, and they had all their software hacked. Now they're claiming now they're ending that. So I'm gonna scan through the chat room here real fast. I'm gonna read everything in it because it's already getting late here. Rodney was first in the house, so I appreciate that. Rodney, hadn't seen you that much lately. It's good to have you from down under. Anna has only one passport. Oh, there was a power outage in Disney. I don't know about that. Sweet Polly Purebred, I'm listening, but most likely will be falling back to sleep listening. Well, Sweet Polly, if my voice puts you to sleep, I consider that a compliment. All right. Kathy Humphreys. All right, very good. The function 100,000 minus one, talking about CA. Well, I'm talking about, I mean, DPFX 99999. That's 100,000 minus one. And DPFX, I kind of take as abbreviation for deep function. I don't know. Maybe you got some other meaning for that, but yeah, FX and a lot of software is function. So Jason says the letters in the alphabet have inherent meaning. The embedded meaning of light is a mind bender. Hey Sasquatch, man, how you doing? Oh, shoot. Trying to click on something on a big fat finger. It ain't working. Oh, lost it. Oh, no wonder that missed. Yeah, but guys, keep your language clean here. We are a family channel, so keep the language clean. All right. Yes, the weather usually strange. I finally got a little bit of rain. Finally. It was a bad drought here. I thought my juniper trees were going to die. I still need more rain. So, let's see here. Rodney says, "Hey, Greg, you need to come down under and build us some long-range rockets, mate." Peter Thiel. Oh, yeah, Peter Thiel with Palantir. He's a piece of work. I don't know about that guy. Some people think he's trying to create the beast technology, and that may be true. Yet he'll talk about Christianity. I don't know. He, like I say, that boy is a piece of work. Maybe scary piece of work. I think I'm gonna do a video on beast technology. That was something I was thinking to do. So I'm gonna find a picture to show y'all from my phone. I don't know if y'all be able to see it, but I want to take a shot at it. Give me a second. Ding, 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 ding. Oop, not that one. Ding, 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 ding. Where is it at? Oh, here we are. It's kind of not all that big. I built 4 ponds. One of them got a little bit of water in it. I don't know if y'all can see that. Can y'all see that water? So it actually pulled a little bit in one of them. Anyway, Green Country. Oh, yeah, that's coming up at noon Central Time today. Introduction to the Hebrew alphabet. Oh, lesson plan. That's on your channel. Folks, Jason is an incredibly brilliant guy. Got a great mind. I highly encourage you guys. I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to his channel. I've had the fortune of going and visiting him a couple times, and we did some joint videos, and I hope I can do that again. At one time, I didn't know where to stop, traveling across country. I didn't trust a lot of places. I got word now I'll stop at truck stops and all kind of places and just kind of stealth camp out in my van. Not the safest thing, but it's, fairly fast. It took me a couple hours extra going back and forth up there where he's at. But it's worthwhile. It's just that, sometimes I'm stressed for time when you got to be on the road 22 hours of driving plus getting gas and snacking and going to the restroom. And then, you might need a nap somewhere in that time. That's some hard driving. You can't just drive 24 hours straight. So, Scooby Snacks, how you doing? Good to see you in here. We got some of our old regulars in here, hadn't seen in a while, like Scooby Snacks. I'm picking green beans, and it's 4:39 a.m. You picking them now? All righty, folks. It's time to call it a night. It's 1:42 here. I got to get up. Uh, I'm being a guest on another channel for that. Okay, it does intersect with gardening, but it's a heavy esoterical. How do you do miracles for real stuff? Oh, okay. I do believe in miracles. I have been a recipient of a very powerful miracle, a healing. And maybe I should make that a subject of a video. A lot of people wouldn't believe it, but wow, it was powerful. So Palantir is a conflict of interest and is coming from someone who was maggot when MAGA wasn't cool. Yeah, well, a lot of people that aren't happy with Palantir have old Jack over at Black Forest Survival. Well, did I say that right? He's got a good channel. He Black Scout Survival, excuse me. I mean, I didn't say that right. Black Scout Survival. Black Forest sticks in my head because we were talking about Germans earlier. Black Scout Survival. He's got a good channel. That guy is really, he hits it on the mark a lot. And he was pointing out that Peter Thiel really is a guy who influenced putting J.D. Vance in power as the vice president. So we have to keep eye on Vance too, then it looks like. Yeah, I heard Vance talking. He was very articulate and promoted the conservative cause, and he would go up to people, and when others would shy away, and he'd give them the what too. I liked the way he talked to Europe and told them how they were messing up. But guys, we got to really keep an eye on these people. Like all these guys in the government, you can't trust none of them from any party anywhere in the world. Now, some of them you might trust a little more than others. I mean, there's some that, you got to pick your poison. Some poisons aren't as bad as others. Today's topic includes the definition of light that kind of cracks the veil a bit. Ooh. Ooh, let there be light. God spoke light. I spoke light on one occasion. We got the video to prove it. When I was with Rex Bear and the Mount Hollywood Tunnel up there next to the Griffin Observatory. I shouted Halo and it came out as a belt of light. It was on my camera and his too. And I got that over on my Galactic Greg's channel. I can go over and figure out what that was all about. Well, we didn't even know it right then. We found it out when we looked at the videos later. It's like, what is that? I mean, both of us had it on the calendars. Weird stuff. So, you know, Jason's my fellow, he's my fellow wizard, guys. Hey, Kim Possible's in the house. All right. Oh, you know what? That means I need to go check PayPal, see if I got a donation. No, it's not a requirement, Kim, but when you're in the house, even when you lurk and I don't see you, you're prone to chip in. I always appreciate that, but I just want to check to see, because I always want to give credit where credit's due. Hang on a minute. Oops, I got to sign in. Somebody else might have done it too. I should always just routinely check this. Don't always do it. Wow, guys, indeed. Glad I checked it. We do have a super chat donated through my donate button on my website from Kim Possible. Salute to Kim Possible. Thank you very much, Kim. I greatly appreciate that. Okay, this is today noon. There it is, guys. Check it out. That's the video that Jason's going to be talking light. Um, so see you again, Greg. Going live. All right, folks. Yeah, well, we're in crazy hours. It's good hours for our buddies from down unders. We get Scooby Snacks and we get Rodney, but it's rough hours domestically here in the States. So Kim Possible chimed in here. I really appreciate that. I really do. All righty, folks. Yeah, I hadn't seen Michelle in a while in our chat. Now, she does comment on stuff I post on Facebook, but I've not seen her in months for some reason. I know she don't hate me. I mean, I see she'll post likes to stuff I put on Facebook when I post pictures of sunsets. I get glorious, beautiful sunsets out here. And a lot of times I post them on Facebook. I posted a moon picture tonight too. So D. Derringer, when he said, "Let there be light," is still continuing. That's true. And some say he speaks light and life and existence to the whole universe, every quantum instant of time. All existence comes from that. I can't argue with that. And I do believe that we are a creation. I do believe in a greater creator. And he made this entire vast multiverse. And to him, it's just an object. I like to talk about the universe and the solo cup a lot of times. I think my solo cup here still got tea in it. So I can't hang on, invert it, turn it upside down, but God is huge, big, vast, incomprehensible to our little monkey minds. Some people have to contain him. They want to put a roof over the world and put them in the clouds flying around over the roof. I guess. I don't know. You know, the way I understand God to be a whole lot bigger, and I know he's real. Because that healing I mentioned came straight from him. The devil don't heal. All right. Oh, yes. No spoilers, but the continuity is part of definition or derivation. What are you saying there from Paleo Hebrew? Yeah, especially in Hebrew, all the letters definitely had huge meaning. No vowels. 23 angelfish, angels fly, angels I fly. Okay. He needs to come to straighten it out. Straighten what out? The world. Well, he gives us free will, and that does come at some expense. But, you know, we are on the precipice, and House of Klaus would take the free will from you. Technology would take your life from you, or the hatreds of people that will it. Technology is a tool. It don't do anything by itself, be it AI or whatever. It don't do anything by itself. Not really. It's a tool. It's our hatreds, our greeds. Yeah, greed figures in there too. Greed and hatred. Guys, I live pretty darn simple here right now. I'm in a little tiny home. I mean, you know, it's about 2 times what you see here in our little upstairs. I don't need a ginormous mansion. I'm happy here. I lived in a van for over a year. I was the man in the van down by the wash instead of the river. You know, so really and truly, this whole materialism is part of the problem too. I'm gonna tell you something. When you die, you're gonna meet your maker. It's gonna be nothing about what position you held here on earth. I don't give a dog if you were a king, emperor, controller of the planet, some big scientist, even a rocket scientist. If you were a preacher, uh, whatever, you know what's going to count? That you have love in your heart. If you had love in your heart, you're going to take care of a lot of stuff. Now, I know a lot of people think there's all kind of tests and stuff, but check all these people having near-death experiences. Love is the answer. And we got to start expressing it to people around us. Hug a neighbor, a friend, do a good deed for somebody. But we got to start talking to people all around to try to convey this notion. I got to start communicating this more often. We're living in a world where we're on the verge of all kind of warfare, and it may be unavoidable. And for that, I say prepare, prep, and pray. God is good, so to know the good God be kind. I agree with Jason, absolutely wholeheartedly. A lot of people think God's not good, but that's usually the doings of man or just, like I said, he gives us free will, but what else would you expect? If he didn't, he'd be a tyrant. And that's the last thing God is. I'll have to give a big explanation one day of my entire cosmological theology. But that's not for today or tonight. It takes a while to put all that out. I'm watering my garden with my river water in a pump. Hey, that's good, Kathy. I don't have enough river water here. I get water hauled in right now. Eventually, I'll get a well. I'm trying to set up for rainwater collection, but until the last few days, I didn't have rainwater to do squat. But you got to start it somewhere, right? Saxon of Riverstone. Hello, folks. Yeah, we're about to go. Pay it forward and treat people how you want to be treated. That's wisdom right there. Thank you, Kim, for that. Preparedness matters. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Deep function, 100,000 minus one. Green Country. Jason says it is an alignment that makes one son or daughter of God. One knows by be a baker, learn to bake, be a gardener, learn to garden. Sure. We all need skills. It's one thing nobody can take from you. They can come take your stuff. As long as you're alive, though, what's is in your head, you keep. And what's in your heart. The measure of a man or woman will be what's in your heart. If we really had love around the world, we wouldn't even need a court system. People would just work things out. So this is how humanity grows up. It's not sitting on a hill in a lotus position, meditating and denying yourself of all existence, and then just somehow ascending into the sky. That's not the answer. The answer is to be engaged in the world, be part of it. We're here to experience this world. So, but we got to be good, and we need to express love. That's the ascendancy. How do we break out of this age? It's the only way that we get out of it and stay free and stay alive. I tell you guys, the proposition of my channel is to survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. Put that stuff in there, and you become a robot. Survive is living. Thriving is living well. Grow your own garden, and you know you got good, wholesome food, and you got a better chance of surviving. Prep. Always prep and pray. Comments are blocked. I see that. What do you mean your comments are blocked? Annabore at Good Enough Homestead. It's been so long that I've been in here that I don't recognize any subs anymore. Oh no. Well, some of our old subs aren't in here right now. We're hearing weird hours, which are a lot more bridges. All right, folks. Guys are like family, especially guys that come in these chat sessions. I was really feeling pretty bad earlier. I mean, I was having tachycardia, to be honest. I get that sometimes. And I don't know, I read through some notes and left on the below on a couple of other past videos, and it really cheered me up. You guys cheered me up. And my tachycardia went, oh. So thank y'all for that. Like I said, your family. I don't always have time to read through all the notes, but I try to do what I can. And I really appreciate you guys. So with that said, we need to call it a night. How long we been here? 64 minutes. That's too long. That's going to hurt my watchers in the morning. They don't want to watch a video that's an hour long. So, but I wanted to communicate to you guys. So I am going to say thank you, Kim Possible, for the beautiful, wonderful super chat donation you made to me through my website, greengregs.com donate button. Thank you, mods, for keeping this room clean. We are a family and we need to keep it clean as a family channel. And I want to thank all you for watching, for being here, for leaving comments. Look, my videos are getting stomped on this platform. The way you help bring the algorithms up is going in and give me a thumbs up. I have to refresh this video. I'm showing 0 thumbs up. I know that's not right. But give me a thumbs up and go into the messages after I close the video, or I'm off, going and chat with, post a comment, respond to other people's comments, and share my videos more than anything else. Share them. Put them on your social media links. Share them around. Send them to friends. I've got a lot of videos where I talk about surviving nuclear war, things like that, bugging out, where to bug out to. So these are all things that y'all really should take a look at. So, oh, Pyramid Seven's in the house now. That's my original mod. Soul's Eye Jewels and Pyramid 7 were my two original mods. So one of them's in the house. Hugging a cat helps the heart too. That's true. Jason, that's true. I got two cats. Be the change you want to see. Amen, Pyramid 7. That's a good moniker. We hear that a lot from our good friend Rex Bear with the Leap Project. I talked to him today, by the way, at quite a length. Rex Bear and I are good friends. He lives, and I'm a lot closer to where he's at now. Maybe he'll come down here and see me. He has been to Snowflake a couple of times in the past. So, uh, Rex and I are good buddies. And really and truly, he helped my channel get kicked off. So I owe him a debt of gratitude for that. Uh, so, yeah, I like Rex. Anyway, I was trying to end the video. Saying Pyramid 7 kind of brought back a lot of old memories here. And like I said, I talked to Rex. Rex is a great guy. Yes, he is. He's a good man. And he's a lot of fun to be with. When you're with Rex, it's like a party. He's such a good guy. He's a lot of fun to be around. So I really think the world of him. And he and I did some videos together that went on the Weather Channel. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So hopefully Rex and I'll have some more adventures in the near future. I'm trying to get him down here and let's go looking at petroglyphs. That's one of his favorite activities. Anyway, my friends, we'll put a video out on Rex. Rex was there for the halo and the tunnel. Yes, he caught on his camera and I caught on mine. Exactly. We were together because we were out in Hollywood area filming stuff to go on the Weather Channel, and we got a break from it. And I said, "Hey Rex, let's go up the Mount Hollywood Tunnel." And so I was going there and talking about it, and we had no idea right before that we were going to go. There was a lot of serendipitous, funny things that associated with that. Go see my video on it on my Galactic Greg's channel. It's called Voice Light from Voice Anomaly. Now Rex had a better video, but he's put it on his behind his paywall over on Patreon. But you can see my video there. I watched Rex since 2016. There you go, little Kim. Yeah, and I went on his channel several times before I started my channel, as I was promoting my Power Grid Defense Conference, one of them. And Rex, had me on to do that several times. I've been on his channel quite a few times. We'll probably do another video soon talking about this three-eye Atlas Comet or whatever it is. I need to do a video on Galactic Gregs on that too. And I just put a video on Galactic Gregs. Didn't get many views, so go over and look at it. Um, so go check out my Galactic Gregs channel. I was talking about Starship and that one. I've got a couple of videos I've just posted on this channel. You need to go back and look at the 600,000 students and some other topics. And I'm going to post a video probably Sunday, maybe on my garden. I'll show you. I filmed this video a couple days ago, so I'll be posting that in a couple of days. So keep an eye out for that. Gardening videos don't do so well on here. I really probably need to open another channel for that kind of content. Anyway, look here. Here we're 69 minutes. I just keep chatting. You guys are hard to get away from. So, all right. Hey, we all need to love, express our love for people. And love is, it ain't anything to do with sex. Okay. Now that's something people can do, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about pure love, pure love. You think God's love for you has something to do with sex? No, it's just pure love. It's a caring, a deep caring about other people. It is concern, compassion, empathy, something that sociopaths and psychopaths have none. They have no empathy. So this is what we need to champion, seriously, to get out of what we're in. Rex has taken a lot of abuse, but still keeps the humility in check. Yes, his channel's been kicked hard too, guys. For having the many subscribers he's got, he ain't getting many views. So check him out occasion, see where he's at on his postings. I Upon watching the video about the pyramids, I got thinking today about how to make it work. I come up with a whole new concept for an awesome power generation system that you wouldn't believe. I ain't gonna talk about it, but just throwing a hint out there. It is totally anyway. I see that video, got my little wheels turning, and I started doing some figuring and some calculations, and it's like, uh-oh, this is revolutionary. Wow. So, guys, keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. Again, thank you, Kim Possible. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're going to call it a night. I got to find my screen where I can end this video. And right here it is. Gotta be careful. So with that, I'm going to say a happy hearty uh, good night to one and all. To one and all, a good night, good day wherever you are.